into part of their family to get to hear their stories so that we could help prepare for this event and help make this possible. So just wanted to kind of start off talking about how the Merchant Family Connection to Hilliard was discovered. That it was very important to us that this park right here didn't really have a name, and it's a beautiful place. It's in the area of Hilliard that we're really developing, and we wanted as a city to give this a name, but we wanted it to be something meaningful. So as a leadership team, we went looking for some history that maybe people didn't know as much about in the city. So I began reaching out to Norwich Township Administration to see what they knew, and we were looking maybe for some diversity, maybe some family, maybe with some indigenous people or black families. What really is the history of this land and this area? One of the first people they told me about, and is a very interesting story, is about their cousin relative Curtis Cyclone Ross, that was a race car driver. And so that was the first person I learned about. I didn't know he was a merchant at the time, but they had, the Racers at Rest program had identified that he had been buried here, had an unmarked grave, and it was important to them that he get a marked grave. And so Norwich Township highlights that when they do a cemetery tour, and when they start doing those cemetery tours again, they have people who volunteer to dress up as actors and reenact, so you can learn about the history of some people in the area. He was added to their tour several years ago, and that was very interesting. They shared that, and the Norwich Township welcomed me out to Wesley Chapel Cemetery, opened all their old records on these old parchments, and we really went looking, and I just went looking at gravestones for names, some names to start researching, and then try to find out the story behind these people and that lived here in Hilliard and were buried here in Hilliard. And Wesley Chapel Cemetery was one of the few, if not only, in the area at the time that allowed black people to be buried there. So we were able to get those names. And then I looked at an 1850 census I was able to find to see who in Hilliard, and look if there was anybody that had some diversity, was listed on the census. And that is when I came across there were actually 3 black families that were in the area, and then I cross-referenced that with the county engineer's office property map, and it showed the only one that actually owned land here was the Merchant family. And then we found the area of land that listed the Merchant name on it. So I took the names that I had from the cemetery and started cross-referencing them on Ancestry.com, looking at different obituaries and online research, and looked more into Curtis Cyclone Ross. And lo and behold, his mother was a merchant. So every name I took, the more I cross-referenced and the more I researched, it all intersected back to that same family tree that was here, that was rooted in Yammer and Tabitha Merchant. And the more that happened, the more excited I was that we have these landowners, we have this family, it's all connecting, the people are connecting. It was a very exciting process. So I continued to follow every name I could find, and every obituary I could find that would list people's names in this family. And lo and behold, I came across Lucy Jefferson Waddy. And when I started doing probate research, that connected to John Waddy. John Waddy is an attorney, a well-known attorney in the Columbus area, and I'm an attorney. I've known John for years. His wife, Magistrate Waddy, Denise, I know her, I see her on a daily basis in court. So that was kind of the aha moment. I found somebody in the Merchant family. So I spoke with John, and he confirmed that Lucy was in fact his mother and had grown up on Cemetery Road here in Hilliard. And then he connected me to Yvonne, my new good friend.
Thank you, Dawn. I just wanted to say that I am Yvonne Merchant Grant. I am a descendant of Yammer and Tabitha Merchant, my great-great-grandfather and great-grandparents. And Miles and Alice are my great-grandparents, and John and Maddie Lizzie Merchant are my grandparents, and Lloyd and Lillian Merchant are my parents. And my mother is here. My mother is here today. She's the only matriarch left with the Merchants, so she is the head of the state for the Merchant family. And my brother Lloyd Jr., my sister Tony, my baby son, youngest son Herbert, John Lloyd is, John Lloyd.
You're too young for that now.
And so we're from the Miles Merchant line. At this time, I want all the merchants from Ananias's line, please stand up. And they're here from Illinois, North Carolina, California, Colorado, Alabama. All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for coming. And if the descendants of